Hello there, Math 126 fans. I'm about to release the Exam 2 scores. I just want to remind you, you can always find on Canvas this link to exam solutions and info. I'm just going to talk about stats and point you to a couple things, and that'll be the end of this video. I have solutions here, written solutions. I have an exam stats page here, so you can kind of see where you stack up. It was slightly better than Exam 1, which was good. Probably the best thing in terms of the course as a whole is there's a bunch of people that did better at the lower quartile was higher. So half the class was above 80%, half was below. My goal is not to make it look like a bell curve. My goal is for all of you to get 100%. It just doesn't always work that way. But anyways, there were 24 perfect exams. Half of the class got above 80%. 8% were below 50%. So the lower numbers were better. The overall grade is a little higher to account for this. It's kind of what I anticipated it would be, even though, again, I'd hoped that it would be 4.0. My goal is not to make a bell curve. My goal is for everyone to ace the course. Just like I said, it doesn't happen that way. So there's that. This is the breakdown. At the end of the term, I hope the median could be 3.1, but I want to see the performance take us there. The final can have a major impact on your grade. All the things I've talked about will go into account, and I talk about that in a video. So if you're worried about grades, a lot of students want to meet with me to calculate their grade. Sort of to save us time and get us on to the more important pieces, I made this video where I go through grade scenarios. So I go through these 4 grade scenarios, and you can find that on the discussion board. And I explain, here's a person with a 1.1 can still get above a 2.0. A person with a 1.8 can still get above a 2.5. I always find these this just shows you that there's a lot of hope to be had, but that doing those calculations doesn't really help you. What helps you is actually preparing for the final. I also give advice just about perspectives and grades, because I think sometimes students hear from other students that they have to get a 3.8 or something. And so I talk about that here. And I hope that's helpful, and I hope you'll add comments on top of that. I also went through and did solutions page by page with some details. In my solutions, I try to focus on tips to help you avoid similar errors on the final exam. So that's where I would spend your energy. Okay, other things to say. You can click on grades, leave student view. You can click on grades and see what it looks like. This will show me a fake test student. You can see your grades up in the corner. You can see I currently have a 2.4, but I'm okay with that. Hopefully I'll do a little better on the final. You can see, if you scroll down, you can see your percentages. At the end of the term, I will tweak this so you can see more things. Part of the reason this score is not right here because I haven't posted the exam. I'll do that immediately after this video. The other thing I want to say is if you're struggling with the Taylor error bounds or the Taylor series, which we're about to talk about, check out these. And I have a little video to go with this. I will add that. But I would say your best bet now, if you are really worried after this exam, is to open up some old finals and get a feel for what it's like. Find the equation of a plane. Do we remember how that goes? This is just flipping through. Find the intersection. Okay, a curvature question. Can we parameterize? So that's a curve question. Here's a partial derivative question. Here's a maximization question. Reverse the order question. Center of mass. And then this one has derivatives to do the Taylor error bound and Taylor series. That's a pretty good indicator. We pretty much keep the style like that. I'm just clicking on random ones here. Find the equation of these planes, vector function, partial derivatives, max and min, reverse the order, a polar, Taylor polynomial with derivatives, Taylor polynomial with series. So you really can see what that looks like. Okay, a true false. Some of our instructors like to ask that on the first page. If this, some of these we'll be able to answer immediately based off of just what it says. Some of them you have to run experiments. This probably takes longer than the fact that each one's worth 2 is probably the bad part about this, but equation of a plane, curvature, find and classify the critical points, volume with bounds, find the derivatives, do error bounds, Taylor series. You sort of know what's coming. You need now to go to fill in those holes. Also understand the final that you have more time to show what you know. You're not going to leave anything blank. Okay, so there's some bits of advice. I do have on my YouTube channel, I have a whole series of final exam review in my Math 126 final exam review playlist. So you can go by topic. So I have a review by topic. I work through old exams, but that doesn't really replace what you need to do, which is to work through an old final. So I have this in many forms. You have over a week to prepare. That's what needs to happen. All right, I hope some of this was helpful. I'm sorry if the course has not gone as good for you as you had hoped. I do hope you learned a few things. I hope we enjoyed ourselves at times. And let's just finish strong and make the most of this quarter and then make a plan after that. All right.